think one thing I struggled with a lot in high school was figuring out how to pursue an extracurricular based on my interest. Alex, what kind of things can people do with comp sci?
Okay, you can do like anything with comp sci. It's great to take and combine your interests. And one of the things I would encourage you to do is see what other people are doing. So if there's any, I can give a better a better example for law, but there's websites specifically that talk about court cases and Supreme Court cases. And if you go to blogs or TikToks or Instagrams, you can see what other people who are passionate about the same things as you are doing. And there's nothing wrong with seeing what other people are doing and then being like, how could I do something similar? You'll have a really great idea from that. And that's how most ideas are created. People don't just come up with something all on their own one day, like super inspired off of each other's work.
I love that. You actually answered someone's question about law. So someone said law. What other things, since you are actually a law student, what are some things you did in high school? Did you do anything that was related to law to explore that?
Yeah, so I didn't do anything directly related to law, which goes to show that law school and med school, those sort of things are really far down the line. So don't feel like all of your interests have to be related to what you want to one day do as a career, because you'll likely change your mind a few times in college, which is totally fine. And also that's just a far way away. So think about what you enjoy now. The example I'll give is when I was in high school, I love animals. All sorts of animals except for bugs. And so I saw this, I really think I must have seen it on Instagram or something. And it was kids reading the shelter dogs. And I was like, that's adorable. How could I do something like that? So my friend and I went to the SPCA, which is like an animal shelter, if you guys don't know what it is. And we went to our local one and we were like, could we do something like this where kids come in over the summer and get to read to the dogs? And from there, once you get other people involved, that's really where everyone's ideas just start bouncing back and forth, and you can start to begin to see something come together. If you're going to take something to someone else, you do always need to have a good proposal or an idea of what it's going to be like planned out, because the more prepared you are, the more people are going to accept you as a professional and accept your proposal as very legitimate. It just makes you look better and they're going to take you more seriously, especially when you're young, which is super helpful. And so we ended up working out that the best option wouldn't be reading to dogs because dogs have a lot of energy. And so we read to cats. And so we set up a summer program where kids could come in and we had different rooms and you would get time in your own individual room and you could just read to the cat or the kittens in the room. And it was super adorable. And the idea behind it was that it would help promote literacy, and also kids can get really nervous, and when they're reading to adults, a lot of times there's a tendency to correct whatever they say. So if they pronounce a word wrong, then we correct them automatically, which it's great to learn how to do, but it's also really nice to be able to enjoy reading and not be interrupted and corrected all the time. And so embracing that and being able to build confidence by having people who are going to listen, or cats in this instance. And then for the SPCA, it was also a good opportunity for them to be like, we have all these pets you can adopt. And so they wanted to include tours and just informational sessions with it too. And they wanted to do like a cute craft so they could put it on their social media. And so it was a really fun experience. And all in all, it didn't take that much time. Like, this doesn't have to be something that consumes your every waking moment. And it was just really fun to work on. And summers, I would say, are a really good time to do something like this if you don't have a lot of things planned, just because then you don't have to split your time between schoolwork as well.
I love that. And I think that you bring up a really good point about like medical school and law school just being so far down the line that like the things you do in high school, they can just be like purely like things that are interesting to you. Like all the stuff you did relate to like the animal shelter, all that is just like stuff that you genuinely enjoy, but doesn't directly relate to that like ultimate goal of going to law school, which admissions officers also want to see. They want to see that you have a life outside of just one pure interest. They want to see that you have hobbies. So doing other things is completely